Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Thursday morning, the 23rd of November, and happy Thanksgiving to all of those stateside. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the UK, it's just not a thing. But yeah, hope you all have a great day. Okay, right, we're going to talk about the Delphi case today, and yet again, moot court filings. This time, not in relation to Judge Francis Gull and the Supreme Court of Indiana and Richard Allen. This is about Mitch Westerman. All right, he's been arrested for theft, conversion. But if you want to hear me reading through the probable cause affidavit, I did that right at the end of my live stream over on Michelle Walks about Nicola Bulley. I was just about wrapping up the live stream, and someone in the chat said Mitch Westerman's been arrested. So I had to do a quick search, find the probable cause affidavit. So I read it through. It's not long, so it's probably the last 15-20 minutes of that show if you're interested. Obviously the title doesn't reflect that there was some Delphi content in there, but there was. So if you want to read through of the probable cause affidavit, I know some people like read-throughs rather than reading it yourself if you're visually impaired, etc, etc. So yeah, I did read it. I'm not going to read it again. So let me explain who Mitch Westerman is. Well, here's one I prepared earlier. This was me last night on TikTok. The latest in the Delphi murder case. This person on your screen is Mitch Westerman. Mitch stated in a sworn affidavit that he took photos of crime scene photos from Andrew Baldwin's office sometime in August. Andrew Baldwin on the left and Brad Rosie on the right are the rightful attorneys of Richard Allen until they were disqualified by Francis Gull, the judge. Well, today Mitch Westerman has been arrested for conversion, which is a form of theft, a misdemeanor charge. He can hardly deny it because of the sworn affidavit. He's admitted it. And what a palaver it's caused, because all of this kicked off in October and resulted in Richard Allen having his attorneys taken away and all sorts of things. So Mitch is the dude who stole crime scene photos from Andrew Baldwin's office. If these charges stick, he's got to plead guilty because he's already signed a sworn affidavit saying he did it. But this affidavit, in my opinion, is not very descriptive, not much detail at all about when he did it, certainly nothing about why he did it. So I'm wondering whether the arrest is about getting as much information from him as they can. You know, they can give him a slap on the wrist if he tells them all he knows. But lots of conversations going on about this arrest on social media. I saw this interesting post on Reddit on Delphi Docs. This is by Brunt. I'm bringing it to you to see what you think about it. I think this is really interesting. Maybe I'm a pessimist who tends to see the worst instead of giving more credit to the doubt. But Mitch Westerman took the photos not long after his interview on Murder Sheet. Mitch Westerman, I talked about this in a previous video. Mitch Westerman was interviewed by the Murder Sheet back in March. I don't really know why the interview, what was important about Mitch Westerman. If anything, it shows that he was a very close friend of Andrew Baldwin, that he worked at Andrew Baldwin's firm for 7 years, left to work somewhere else, but they remained friends. And everything I know practically about Mitch Westerman came from that episode of The Murder Sheet. That's how I know that he worked for Andrew Baldwin for 7 years and that he was a close friend. But that was back in March. And apparently he went into Andrew Baldwin's office sometime in August. Andrew was on the phone in his office. So Mitch had a wander into the conference room and then just started snapping photos of crime scene photos. But these photos had been leaked before. We know that Chris Todd, back in December of 2022, had crime scene photos. We know he'd at least seen them. He was on Court TV on the 3rd of December. We know that Barbara MacDonald has had a bunch of crime scene information. She's got the Purdue report. Brad Rosie, eagle-eyed, been sent that Court TV clip, and there was the Purdue report. Unbelievable. So if he went on Murder Sheet in March, clearly they know Mitch Westerman. So back to Brunt. I think he may have seen it as a way to be more involved in the case, maybe for even a financial gain. I think, why did Mitch Westerman, given that the crime scene photos have been leaked previous, we know they have, and we know investigators close to the case have been leaking things to podcasters forever, seemingly. Why the big deal about this? And why did Mitch Westerman do it? Look, listen, I'm not really bothered if he gets charged for it or not, but surely it does vindicate Baldwin that he was a victim. He didn't know anything about what had happened. And yes, of course, you're going to say, well, he shouldn't have the crime scene photos in the conference room, but it's not like it was open to the public. Mitch Westerman was a trusted friend, an ex-colleague of the firm. So who put him up to it? Who put him up to breaking his friendship with Andrew Baldwin, betraying him? Who put him up to it? Did he get paid for it? And why, this is what I can't understand, why was it that he sat on those crime scene photos for 2 months before giving them to Robert, who then took his own life, but not before giving them to Mark? And then he distributed them to Murder Sheet and others. A bunch of YouTubers. But for Mitch, why did he do it? What was behind it? There's got to be a reason. What was his motivation for betraying Andrew Baldwin? It's got to be money, hasn't it? So Brunt says, I'm not saying Murder Sheet would have been directly linked to his transgression on their own accord, but they are, unfortunately, major players in the Delphi cash grab. Listen, I said that there are people benefiting from this case going on and on and on. The Murder Sheet are one, but they're not the only ones by any stretch of the imagination. They've got an influence. And I'm not saying they've done anything wrong, but they've got an influence on this case. They've been getting leaks for a long time. Keg and Klein stuff. The Ron Logan search warrant. They're well known. And once the case is over, they're, the way that the media quotes them and their podcast, yes, they do other stuff, but it's nowhere near as big. They are known for Delphi stuff. So if the trial happened in January, the case is over. But now the case will just go on and on and on and on and on. So there's very convenient meddling that has caused this. And listen, in my opinion, the Supreme Court or whoever need to take control back from the people who are cash grabbing, the people who are financially gaining from this case, carrying on and on and on and on and on. It's my opinion. Being on their show could have given him ideas on how to increase his participation. It could have been a crime of opportunity, but given the gravity of it, you can't rule out that he was calculating in his transgression. I think he knew what he was going there for. I mean, yeah, there was an opportunity because Andrew was busy. But what was his motivation? Given that this happened in August, if he impulsively had taken these photos, he had 2 months to decide what to do with them. Why did he keep them until October to release them? Was he told to? All speculations that I've asked you before, previous videos. There's something really weird here. And the fact that they were released at the very time when the defence said that they were ready to go to trial in January And hey presto, all of this blows up and they get disqualified. It's time for the court to recuse the judge because she's no longer in control of this situation. I'm of the belief, as I've seen many people talk about now, I talked about this yesterday, I'm of the belief that the release of her medical problem 20 days after she actually went to hospital is very purposeful. That this is the lead into her recusing herself. I wouldn't be surprised if she recuses herself either tomorrow or Monday. Or maybe next week sometime. It really wouldn't surprise me that her voluntary recusement, is that a word, will come very soon. I don't know what effect that will have on the case. I don't know whether it will mean that Baldwin and Rosie will be reinstated. Because remember, the second writ is asking for the judge to be recused, for Baldwin and Rosie to be reinstated, and for Richard Allen's trial. He wants a speedy trial. 70 days, but it's eaten well into that 70 days. But if Baldwin and Rosie were reinstated, yeah, it might be a push to get the trial back on track for January, but maybe a couple of months, maybe March. I think, honestly, there's merit in Richard Allen being released. The case dismissed at this stage. I think it's a possibility that the case will just be dismissed without prejudice, like Barry Morphew. That the investigation can continue and they could rearrest him in the future. But this is so messy now, surely there has to be some kind of line drawn in the sand. I doubt he'll ever speak on his motives, or at the very least speak truthfully, especially now considering the aftermath. Exactly. Due Reflections says, Mitch Westerman photographed those pictures, then had a pause before taking his next step. Yeah, that's the big thing for me. It isn't like he impulsively broadcast a live video of them. He had a chance to delete them, and no one would ever have known of his crazy moment of impulse, unless it was planned. Exactly. Thinking along my lines here. Did he even think through the consequences for people, or did he just not care? I don't think he thought it through. He didn't think it through, but the people who were putting ideas in his head definitely did. There's a big calculation behind the scenes here somewhere. It cost a life, it did. It absolutely cost a life. Totally. Very sad. What do you think? Let's see what happens today. It's Thanksgiving, isn't it? So courts are closed today, so I don't think there's going to be anything coming out later. And then, isn't it Lincoln's birthday tomorrow? I know Lincoln's birthday is in February, but don't some counties in Indiana celebrate Lincoln's birthday on the Friday? So maybe we're not going to hear anything until Monday. I don't know. I don't think we're going to hear anything today, though, because the courts will be closed. So maybe we'll get a day off Delphi. But let me know what you think about this. It's weird. It's just getting stranger and stranger. Let me know in the comments. And I'll see you, hopefully later, for part 3 of the Nicola Bulley read-through of the College of Policing report. So I think I'm going to be doing 5 parts. So we're going to do the search tonight and the difficulties and the challenges and where they're looking in the wrong place for the longest time. How did they miss her? That kind of thing we're going to talk about tonight. I've got some footage to show you and stuff. I won't be on tomorrow because I'm busy tomorrow, so I'm not going to be home. I'm not going to be on tomorrow doing a live stream. I'll do a video in the morning, but I won't be live streaming tomorrow, so I think we'll probably do 5 parts on the Nicola Bulley, so I'll finish it Saturday and then Sunday. That's what I'm thinking. That's my plan. Alright guys, see you soon. Bye.